Picture this. You're scrolling through Instagram and you see the Bridgerton cast at a premiere. They're not just posing for cameras. They're genuinely laughing, hugging each other, finishing each other's sentences like they've been best friends for years. And here's the thing that'll blow your mind. They actually have been. This isn't acting. This isn't publicity. These people are legitimately obsessed with each other. And after diving deep into every interview, behind-the-scenes clip, and press junket from Season 4, I can confirm what fans have suspected all along. This cast might just be the most delightful group of humans to ever grace our screens. From the newcomers who walked into the Bridgerton world and instantly felt like family, to the veterans who treat every new member like a precious gem. There's something almost magical happening here. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why Season 4 isn't just about the romance on screen. It's about the love story happening behind the cameras. Asterisk, let's start with the woman who's about to steal all our hearts in Season 4, Yerin Ha, playing Sophie Beck. Now, if you've seen any of her interviews, you already know this woman is sunshine in human form. But what makes her truly special is how she talks about joining Bridgerton. In one interview, she literally said she cried when she got the role, not just because it was a dream come true, but because she'd been a massive fan of the show. She watched it like the rest of us, screaming at her TV, swooning over the romances. And now she's living inside that world. Here's where it gets even better. Yerin has been so open about her journey, talking about how the entire cast welcomed her with open arms from day one. She mentioned in a recent interview that Luke Thompson, who plays Benedict, sent her the sweetest message before filming started. He told her she was going to be amazing and that the Bridgerton family couldn't wait to work with her. Can you imagine getting that kind of support from your leading man before you've even stepped on set? That's not normal in Hollywood, folks. That's special. But Yerin didn't just receive kindness, she's been giving it right back. During the press tour, she's been gushing about every single cast member like they hung the moon. She talks about Nicola Coughlan giving her advice about handling the spotlight. She mentions how the Bridgerton siblings made her feel like an actual sister. And when she talks about working with Luke Thompson, her face literally lights up. She's described their chemistry as effortless, saying they connected immediately over their shared love of art and their similar approaches to acting. What's absolutely delightful is watching her in group interviews with the cast. There's this one clip where she's sitting between Luke Thompson and Claudia Jessie, and they're all laughing so hard about an on-set mishap that Yerin can barely get her words out. Claudia keeps touching her arm affectionately, and Luke is looking at her with this proud big brother energy. These aren't people who just met. These are people who genuinely care about each other. Fans have noticed it too. Social media is flooded with comments about how natural Yerin seems with everyone, how she's not trying too hard, how she just fits. And here's something that really shows her character. Yerin has been incredibly thoughtful about representing her Korean heritage in the role while honoring the source material. She's talked about the responsibility she feels and how the cast and crew supported her in bringing authenticity to Sophie. She's mentioned having deep conversations with the creators about making sure Sophie's story resonated with truth and heart. That level of care and thoughtfulness, that's what makes someone not just a good actor, but a genuinely delightful human being. Asterisk, now let's talk about Katie Leung, who's playing Lady Araminta. And honestly, if you're not already in love with this woman, you're about to be. Katie brings this incredible combination of grace, humor, and groundedness to every interview she does. She's a veteran actor, yes, that's Cho Chang from Harry Potter all grown up, but she talks about joining Bridgerton with the excitement of someone getting their first big break. That kind of humility is rare in this industry. What's particularly touching about Katie is how she talks about the Bridgerton experience. In multiple interviews, she's mentioned that she was nervous about joining such an established, beloved show. She worried about fitting in with a cast that's known for being so close-knit. But according to her, those fears disappeared within hours of arriving on set. She's told stories about how Adjoa Andoh, who plays Lady Danbury, immediately took her. Under her wing, Adjoa apparently invited Katie for tea during their first week, and they talked for hours about everything from acting techniques to life in general. Katie has this wonderful way of making everyone around her feel special. During press events, she's constantly praising her fellow cast members, but it never feels forced or like she's just saying what she's supposed to say. When she talks about working with Yerin Ha, she describes her as a brilliant talent with a beautiful soul. When she mentions the veterans like Jonathan Bailey or Nicola Coughlan, she talks about learning from them with genuine appreciation. There's no ego here, just pure gratitude for being part of something special. One interview moment that really captured hearts was when Katie was asked about the difference between the Harry Potter fandom and the Bridgerton fandom, instead of comparing them. She talked about how both communities are filled with passionate people who love the stories and characters deeply. She said that being part of these fandoms has taught her about the power of storytelling to bring people together. She then thanked both fan communities for their support over the years. How lovely is that? The cast clearly adores her too. Luke Thompson has mentioned in interviews that Katie brings this calming presence to set, that she's someone people gravitate toward when they need advice or just want to chat. Yerin has posted about Katie on social media, calling her an inspiration and a joy to work with. Even the behind-the-scenes crew have shared stories about Katie staying late to chat with everyone, remembering people's names, asking about their families. That's the kind of person who makes a production special, someone who sees everyone, not just the people in front of the camera. You know what nobody tells you about long-running shows? The cast usually gets tired. They start phoning it in during interviews. They give the same rehearsed answers. They smile for the cameras, but you can see the exhaustion in their eyes. The Bridgerton cast, they're doing the exact opposite. Season 4 is here and these people are more excited than ever. Like, they just discovered the show yesterday. It's honestly bizarre in the best possible way. Let's talk about Luke Thompson first, because this man is about to carry Season 4 on his shoulders and he's handling it like someone who just won the lot. Here's the thing about Luke. He's been part of Bridgerton since the beginning, playing Benedict, the artistic middle child who mostly existed in the background. He watched his on-screen brothers and sisters get their romantic storylines. He supported them through their press tours. He showed up, did the work, and waited his turn without a single complaint. And now that it's finally his moment, the man is absolutely glowing. But here's what makes Luke Thompson genuinely special. He's hilariously self-deprecating about the whole thing. In one interview, he joked that he kept waiting for the producers to change their minds and give someone else the lead role. He said he'd mentally prepared himself to be the eternal supporting character, perfectly happy painting in the background forever. When they finally told him Season 4 was his, he apparently didn't believe them for a solid week. He kept asking if they were sure, if maybe they wanted to think about it some more. That kind of humility from someone who's about to be the romantic lead of one of Netflix's biggest shows, that's rare. What's even more beautiful is how he talks about Yerin Ha. You can tell he feels protective of her, like he remembers what it's like to be new and overwhelmed. He's mentioned that he makes sure to check in with her between takes, that he wants her to feel supported the way his co-stars supported him. There's this gorgeous interview clip where they're sitting together and the interviewer asks Luke, "What? It's like finally being the lead." Before he can answer, Yerin jumps in and says he's the most generous scene partner I've ever had. And you can see Luke get genuinely emotional. He wasn't expecting that. That wasn't rehearsed. That was pure, real appreciation between two actors who built something special together. Then there's the Bridgerton siblings dynamic. And this is where things get really delightful. Jonathan Bailey, Phoebe Dynevor, Claudia Jessie, Luke Thompson. These four have been playing siblings for years now. And somewhere along the way, they actually became family. Not the Hollywood version of family where you say nice things in interviews and never talk outside of work. Real family, the kind who show up for each other, who tease each other mercilessly, who defend each other fiercely during the season. For press tour, all three of them have been showing up to support Luke even though it's not their season anymore. Jonathan Bailey literally rearranged his film schedule to attend the premiere. Phoebe flew in from another project just for one day. Claudia has been posting about Luke constantly on social media, hyping him up like a proud sister, asterisk. Here's something wild that most people don't realize about film sets. They're usually miserable, long hours, freezing cold, or burning hot, standing around waiting for lighting adjustments. Doing the same scene 40 times until you want to scream. Actors tolerate each other professionally, go to their trailers, and count down the days until filming wraps. That's normal. That's expected. The Bridgerton set? Apparently, it's like summer camp for adults who can't stop laughing and nobody wants to go home. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening behind those gorgeous Regent Sierra scenes. Adjoa Andoh, who plays Lady Danbury, has basically become the set mom for everyone. And I don't mean that in some cute metaphorical way. This woman literally brings homemade food to set. She keeps emergency chocolate in her trailer for anyone having a rough day. When new cast members join, she's the first person to invite them to dinner at her place. Katie Leung mentioned that Adjoa cooked her a full Ghanaian meal during their first week together because Katie mentioned missing home-cooked food. Who does that? Who has time to cook for co-workers when you're filming one of the biggest shows on Netflix? But wait, it gets better. Golda Rosheuvel, who plays Queen Charlotte, is apparently the set's unofficial party planner. Multiple cast members have talked about how Golda organizes these spontaneous celebrations for everything. Someone's birthday, Golda's got a cake, wrapped filming a difficult scene. Golda's passing around champagne glasses. First day for a nervous newcomer, Golda's throwing them a welcome party in her trailer. Yerin Ha told this story about her first day on set feeling absolutely terrified. And Golda showed up in full Queen Charlotte costume and makeup, handed her a cupcake, and said welcome to the family, darling, you belong here. Imagine that being your introduction to a show. Now here's where things get absolutely chaotic in the best way. This cast apparently cannot stop pranking each other, but it's not mean-spirited Hollywood pranks. It's pure silly nonsense that makes everyone laugh. Luke Newton, who played Colin in Season 3, is apparently the mastermind. He's admitted in interviews that he once had rubber ducks all over the Bridgerton house set and wouldn't tell anyone why. The cast kept finding them for weeks in random drawers, behind curtains, inside prop books. It became this running joke where people would send him photos every time they discovered another duck. No explanation, no punchline, just pure absurdity. Nicola Coughlan has shared that during Season 3, she and Luke Newton got so giggly during romantic scenes that they had to take breaks because they kept making each other laugh, not because it was awkward or uncomfortable, but because they'd become such close friends that trying to be serious felt ridiculous. The director would call, cut, and they'd both collapse laughing. And instead of getting frustrated, the crew would start laughing too. That's the energy on this set. Nobody's stressed. Nobody's taking themselves too seriously. But perhaps the most telling thing about this cast's chemistry is how the veterans treat the newcomers. Most established shows have this invisible hierarchy, where the original cast members have their clique and new people have to earn their way in. Bridgerton, it's the complete opposite. The returning cast members treat every new person like they've been waiting their whole lives to meet them, okay? Let's get real for a second. Hollywood is full of casts who claim they're best friends. They post cute selfies together during press tours. They say all the right things in interviews. Then the show ends and suddenly nobody's ever in the same room again. Radio silence, and followed on Instagram. We were never actually close. Articles start appearing years later. We've seen this pattern 1,000 times. So when the Bridgerton cast keeps insisting they're genuinely close, you'd be forgiven for being skeptical. Except here's the problem with doubting them. The evidence keeps piling up that they're telling the truth, and it's getting harder to deny. Want to know the difference? Former cast members won't shut up about how real it was. Regine Page left the show after season 1. And he still shows up to support his former co-stars at their premieres. Still posts about them. Still talks about the Bridgerton family in interviews years later. If it was fake, if it was just publicity, why would he bother? He's got his own thriving career now. He doesn't need the Bridgerton Association anymore. But there he is, cheering them on like a proud alumni watching his old school win championships. Phoebe Dynevor barely appears in recent seasons, but she flew across the ocean for Luke Thompson's premiere. That's not contractual obligation, that's friendship. Here's what nobody talks about. This cast does something revolutionary in an industry built on competition and ego. They celebrate each other's wins outside of Bridgerton like those victories are their own. When Jonathan Bailey won awards for fellow travelers, the entire Bridgerton cast flooded social media with congratulations. When Nicola Coughlan's movie came out, Luke Newton posted about it like he was her personal publicist. When Simone Ashley booked a major film role, Caratha Chandran wrote this long emotional post about how proud she was. These aren't quick congrats comments. These are genuine, detailed expressions of joy for each other's success. And it goes deeper than social media posts. Adjoa Andoh has talked about how cast members text each other constantly. Not about work, but about life, random memes, asking for advice about personal stuff, sharing articles they think someone else would find interesting. She mentioned that there's a group chat that's been active for years and it's just chaos, people showing photos of their pets, arguing about what to watch on TV, supporting each other through hard days. That's not networking, that's actual friendship. But here's the thing that really sets this cast apart. Their values align in a way that's almost eerie. They don't just work together well, they actually believe in the same things. Representation matters to all of them. They've all spoken passionately about why diverse casting in period dramas is important. None of them are just parroting talking points. They have real, thoughtful perspectives on it. When they talk about making Bridgerton a safe, inclusive space, you can tell they've had real conversations about it behind closed doors. They've done the work. Mental health advocacy. Multiple cast members have opened up about their own struggles and how the others supported them through it. Body positivity. Nicola Coughlan has been vocal about it, and the entire cast backs her up, shuts down any weird questions from interviewers, protects each other from invasive media, LGBTQ rights. Jonathan Bailey speaks openly about his experiences, and the cast surrounds him with visible support, workers' rights, and fair treatment of crew. They've all advocated for better conditions. These aren't celebrities jumping on trendy causes. These are people who genuinely care and use their platform thoughtfully. There's this beautiful moment that encapsulates everything. During a recent interview, someone asked Luke Thompson what he's most proud of about season 4. Everyone expected him to talk about his performance, or the romance, or the beautiful costumes. Instead, he said he's most proud that they created something while taking care of each other. You want to know the moment I realized this cast was different? It wasn't during some glossy magazine interview or a perfectly orchestrated press event. It was a random Tuesday afternoon when a fan posted a video from a coffee shop in London. They'd spotted Claudia Jessie and Yerin Ha having lunch together. Not at some trendy celebrity hotspot with photographers conveniently nearby. Just a regular cafe sitting by the window, talking for hours, no cameras, no publicity team, no reason to be together except that they wanted to be. The fan didn't even approach them, just captured this quiet moment of two people who met through work and apparently decided they genuinely enjoyed each other's company. That's when it clicked. This isn't performance, this is real life. And that's exactly what makes the Bridgerton cast so absolutely delightful. In an industry that's built on manufactured relationships and strategic friendships, these people actually like each other. They're not enduring each other until the contract runs out. They're not counting down the days until they can escape to separate projects and never speak again. They built something authentic in the most inauthentic place on earth, and somehow, against all odds, It survived for seasons and keeps getting stronger. The fans feel it too. That's why the Bridgerton fandom isn't just obsessed with the romances on screen. They're equally invested in the cast's real-life friendships. People make compilation videos of cast members being adorable together at premieres. They analyze group interviews looking for sweet moments of support. They celebrate when cast members comment on each other's Instagram posts. Because watching genuinely good people succeed together and lift each other up, that's become rare enough to be revolutionary. Here's the truth that we need to talk about. We're living in a time where everything feels cynical and transactional. Where friendships are networking opportunities and kindness is a brand strategy. The Bridgerton cast could easily play that game. They could show up, smile for cameras, give generic compliments, and go home. Nobody would blame them. That's industry standard. But instead, they've chosen something harder and infinitely more valuable. They've chosen to actually care about each other.